Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
This week, ministers are expected to start publishing a series of papers outlining what will happen in the event of a no-deal Brexit. The new Brexit Secretary, Dominic Raab, will also travel to Brussels for more negotiations with the EU. All of this as pressure grows for a second Brexit vote, with the founder of the clothing chain Superdry, Julian Duncan, donating £1 million to the campaign. Our deputy political editor, Beth Wrigley, is in Westminster. Beth, these no-deal Brexit papers, there has been a suggestion circulating that they might be full of doom and gloom as an attempt to try and push away from that as being the outcome of this process. What do you make of that?
Well, Neil, funnily enough, I just actually spoke to a senior MP about this exact thing. What was the motive about putting out these technical notices, 84 of them, covering an area of subjects about what to do in the case of a no deal to try and inform the public and business, everything from aviation to consumer protection to passports to pet passports as well. What's the motive for it? Well, you could argue that at Chequers, do you remember the Chequers summit, Theresa May, in an attempt to mollify angry Brexiteers over her Brexit plan and trade plan, agreed to step up preparedness for a no-deal Brexit. There was a sense from Brexiteers that she wasn't really taking a no-deal very seriously, and that weakened her negotiating hand with Brussels. So on the one hand, it's an attempt to, as this MP said to me, placate the Brexiteers. But on the other hand, it's also an attempt, if you like, to instill a bit of project fear out there into the minds of the public, perhaps, that these notices will outline the event of a no deal and the implications of that and how the public and businesses should respond. And that could concentrate in the minds of some, perhaps, who have been reluctant to accept Theresa May's compromise plan, to begin to think that maybe this is the best of a bad bunch of options. Certainly the MP I spoke to thought that she was trying to play both hands in doing that. But we'll have to see on Thursday, when the first tranche of these documents are released, as to how much detail they really contain. But certainly I think it's fair to say that both the public and businesses are very keen to get planning around a no-deal scenario, given that talks have stalled and Brexit's just 6 months off.
And Beth, what are we to make of this £1 million donation to the People's Vote campaign by Julian Duncan? I mean, it's interesting that the news emerges, you know, the day after Nigel Farage says, I'm back in politics and I'm going to be touring with Leave Means Leave from now until the end of the year.
Well, both sides of that bitterly fought referendum campaign back in 2016 are dusting off their campaign books, painting their Brexit buses and the like, and they're getting back on the campaign trail, which could be to the dismay of many of the public who perhaps are sick to death of Brexit and just want it done. But certainly both sides, both the Leave Means Leave campaign and then the People's Vote campaign, that was set up in April to try and push for a referendum on Theresa May's final deal. Both sides saying this weekend that they're preparing for an autumn offensive. And this money from Julian Duncan, who, as you said, is the entrepreneur behind the very successful Superdry brand, is just money in the coffers for the People's Vote. They really believe that they have momentum to, if not stop Brexit, at least get a vote on the final deal. And this is what Tom Baldwin from that campaign had to say about it.
People are seeing it from every walk of life, from every corner of this country, that Brexit is turning out to be a disaster. It's not what they voted for, whether you voted Leave or Remain. We're having a car crash here being designed by politicians who can't see beyond tomorrow.
Well, that was Tom Baldwin's view as they gear up for a series of rallies across the UK, trying to build momentum for a second referendum. But as for Nigel Farage, who you could argue was the godfather of Brexit, that was his 20-year campaign to get Britain out of the EU. His view is that Theresa May is ignoring the public, that she's trying to backtrack on what he thinks should be a hard Brexit, and he feels that that needs to be hammered home to the government and to MPs. And the vote, the Leave Means Leave campaign group will be up and down the country trying to galvanise support among the people and the public for a hard Brexit. And a tougher Brexit than Theresa May is trying to negotiate at the moment. So as she begins to think more about those high-level negotiations in Brussels that will begin in earnest this week with Dominic Raab, the Brexit Secretary, going over, but then into September and then October, on the ground, both the Leave and Remain sides of the 2016 referendum gearing up for another fight. It's going to be a very busy autumn.
It is indeed. Thanks, Beth.